Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan. About my credentials, I have 8 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations, internal security, and in-depth analysis of Hindu editorials and articles, which will be very useful for the prelims and mains point of view. Video is about how to crack prelims 2020. But prior to that, you have a notification for the learners, that is for the app Crack UPSC CSE with India's largest learning platform, and you have to get for the subscription. And once you get the subscription, you will have access to the unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educators. And the other privileges you would get once you subscribe are the daily live classes wherein you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and also be part of answer polls. You also have live tests and quizzes wherein you can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock test and quizzes and get detailed analysis on your performance. Along with that, you have structured courses wherein all our courses are structured in line with UPSC exam syllabus so that you will have best preparation. And you also have unlimited access. Once you subscribe, you will get access to all our live and recorded courses to watch from your comfort zone, either mobile or laptop. You have the top educators at Unacademy. They are Sudarshan Gurjar, Ayush Sanghi, Prakash Kumar, and Runal Patel. You have a special classes by Dr. Roman Saini sir, Dr. Siddharth Arora, by Lokendra Chauhan, by Rakesh Verma, and Ashish Malik. You also have the upcoming courses in Unacademy platform. They are the capsule course on 250 multiple choice questions for UPSC Prelims. You have comprehensive course on public administration. You also have capsule course on geography optional, and you have Let's Crack UPSC CSE 2021. And in regards to the UPSC CSE subscription for the learners, you have 12 month subscription and also you have 24-month subscription. And the price for the 12 months is 40,000 and the price for 24-month subscription is 52,000. And you can use my code SBT10, and once you use my code for the subscription, you can avail 10% discount, and upon 40,000, that is the original price 40,000, you will get discount and you can pay only 36,000. And if you are wanting to subscribe for 24 months after using my code SBT10, you will get 10% discount upon 52,000 and the price would be 46,800. So it is always recommended that UPSC preparation has to be minimum for 1 year to 2 years, and the serious candidates aspirants have to be in the loop for at least 24 months, that is 2 years. So it is always recommended to subscribe for 24 months, wherein once you subscribe for 24 months, you would be paying for 24 months only for the amount you pay for 12 months plus 1 month. That means the amount you pay for 1 year plus 1 month is equivalent to the 24 months amount what you are paying, that is 46,800. So take the maximum benefit of the discount what you are getting, subscribe it right now, and make sure that you are part of the team Unacademy subscription for 24 months. You can view all my courses, not only my courses, my classes, but also you can view the classes of all the top educators in Unacademy. So please go ahead with subscription. And today we will get into the topic, that is the Hindu, the in-depth analysis of editorials and articles of the Hindu newspaper. So we would be discussing about the topics: India's United Front, Nirbhaya, meaning fearless, and about the topic pandemic impact. So we will look at the first editorial, which talks about India's United Front. That means you have the editorial which says that the missing notes. The editorial, the first editorial, the heading of the editorial is missing notes. And there it is about how the Prime Minister of India has gone ahead with taking different measures to combat the economic impact of the COVID pandemic. And what is the initiative taken by the Prime Minister of India? So in that regard, the heading is India's United Front. And then we all know that our Prime Minister of India has called for a lockdown on March 22nd, 2020, that is on Sunday. What is the reason that the Prime Minister has called for the lockdown? It's very clear that our country is heading towards stiffer measures. Our country is heading towards stiffer measures. So when we are talking about these stiffer measures, yes, certainly it is in regards to that we all should come together to make sure that we are abiding by the preventive measures, so that the preventive measures which will be taken up, or which are and which will make sure that the COVID-19 pandemic virus will not spread virulent, and make sure that there are minimum casualties, and then the spread of virus has to be contained. So for that regards, the government of India and the Prime Minister of India has gone ahead with a stiffer measure, and one of the measure is in regards to the lockdown on Sunday, that is on March 22nd, 2020. So not only that, our Prime Minister has also gone ahead with a conference call with all the chief ministers on March 20, 2020, so that he is bringing to the notice of all the states and the people, and also the chief minister, that definitely there is a sense of urgency and there is emergency, that there is a need for stiffer measure, and these stiffer measures are to make sure that we protect our citizens. We are concerned about the health of the citizens, Indian citizens. So in turn, taking the stiffer measure, conference call with the chief minister, and then making sure that there is definitely a sense of urgency and emergency to contain the spread of virus. And as we all know that we should not panic, but we should be prepared to prevent. So the preventive measures are stiffer, the stiffer measures are lockdown, and the stiffer measures which are being communicated by the Prime Minister to the chief ministers of all the states is that yes, there is certainly a sense of urgency and emergency, wherein we all together, that is the center and the states, have to come together irrespective of the political parties or the government in different states. They have to come together, and then they have to make sure that they fight the pandemic COVID-19. And then the Prime Minister has also gone ahead with saying that it's good, or we have to encourage the people who are definitely fighting against the coronavirus, and the one who is involved in fighting the coronavirus, or to make sure that the spread of virus do not take place, or who are involved in preventing the measures, we have to applaud them. And the Prime Minister says that we have to applaud them by going ahead with at least a clap for them, so that India or the entire Indian population is recognizing their efforts, that they have kept their life at risk and they are ready to work for the entire nation. That is the public health of the citizens. And along with this, the lockdown, the conference with the chief minister, the Prime Minister also has gone ahead with coming up with a task force, wherein the task force will be chaired by the finance minister, and there is a possibility that this force, that is a task force, will take early announcement of measures. So the force, that is the task force chaired by our finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman, would take early announcement of measures. What is the need for the early announcement of the measures? So that we can make sure that we alleviate or we reduce the economic pain what we are experiencing in the midst of the pandemic COVID-19. So it is always important the various ministries, and in this scenario of our discussion, the Prime Minister of India, the Health Ministry, and all the institutions which are involved medically, along with the hospitals, along with the nurses, along with the staff members, the finance minister also should come in coordination, wherein we control or we prevent the spread of virus. Along with that, we should make sure that there we have to ease the economic pain because of the COVID-19. So a task force which in tandem will work to ease, to reduce the economic pain. Sorry. And we have challenges which we have to actually take it into consideration, and then we have to move forward. So what are the challenges what the government is coming up with, the stiffer measures? And if in case the stiffer measures are not really implemented or not taken it very seriously, then what could be the consequences or the repercussions of not following the preventive measures? What would happen? What could be the end results? And then for that there are definitely few challenges, and then we will look at few challenges so that what these challenges could actually face a cause of concern to the entire mankind or humankind. So the first and foremost of the challenge is the complacency that each and every individual has, that yes, I am not part of the, I mean, a patient, or I'm not having the symptoms. But it is always better. I mean, prevention is better than cure. So, what is important is that we need not be complacent, but we have to be very vigilant. So, vigilance has to dominate over complacency at this moment to counter effectively the spread of COVID-19. And that complacency, which actually we carry at times, if it is actually now taking the front seat, then it will create a problem. And that complacency has to be shredded now, so that we will be part of the stiffer measure taken by the government of India to effectively combat the pandemic COVID-19. And then this complacency is evident by our social response. And this kind of, what you say, complacency is in the entire social response which creeps the affliction, that means which is creeping the entire disease or the disorder which is actually now in place, that is which is making sure that there is a calmness of bordering on irresponsibility. So there should not be calmness on the border of irresponsibility, but we have to take responsibility, shredding the complacency what each and every individual possess in them, so that we will be part of the social response, and we will be part of the stricter measures to combat the preventive measures, or be part of the preventive measures to handle effectively the spread of virus. And the other challenge is that the large gatherings, that is, the government has come up saying that social distancing is very important. We have to always avoid large gatherings. It is always important that we should not step out into the malls or cinema halls if it is not really required. And the government has taken an initiative of shutting all the malls and cinema halls, and also making sure that any, I mean, family functions, if they are, we should try to avoid it or postpone it. In spite of making so stricter measure, people at private, at state and religious events are continuing, and then the nature of disease will become very clear that it will spread, and it is now the need of the hour that we go ahead with social distancing. So we need to spread the complacency. We should also make sure that we are part of the social distancing. And then the other challenge is the large segment of the population has developed a detrimental, that is harmful acceptance. What is this is that they have developed this kind of harmful acceptance for battling sickness for various kinds of at all time. So we should not have this kind of detrimental practices or acceptance, but move out of the detrimental fatalism, that is acceptance, and then make sure that we are fighting for the spread or to contain the spread of the virus. And then we also have the measures. We will look at the measures, what the challenges that we are facing, and how best we can come out of the challenges, that is with the measures. So why I am taking this is because if there is a question in the mains and then you have to write an answer, so you need to understand the basic understandings or the background introduction, and then the way we are carrying ahead this discussion in regards to the making sure that we all are together, that is we are united, we are all united friend. That means unity is important to combat the virus. That means unity versus virus. If there is a question in the mains which talks about, or which would be the keyword in the entire statement or the question, which is unity versus virus, then you definitely have an answer through our lecture. I mean, through my class, through our discussion, you are very well versed with the entire knowledge and how best you can write the answer, comparing at different levels and then linking it with one topic to the other topic, that is health to economy, and then unity versus virus. So here we will look at now the measures. The measures that has to be taken into consideration is at the center and at the state level. That means the governments at the center and the states level have to marshal all resources which are available. So we have to make sure, that means it is not only the central government and the state government, it is the responsibility of each and every individual, that is the citizens, that we take the maximum educational or what is being educated by the central and state government health departments as well. We also should act as a part of resource available to the government, that is the state and the central government, as a responsible citizen, and then launching a complete spectrum of defense. So this is very important, that the governments have to come together, central and the states, to go ahead with utilizing the maximum resources available, so that they can go ahead with launching a spectrum of defense against the spread of virus. And it is the need of the hour, so that this is the stiffer measure. When the measures are stiffer, when it is required, then the result will be positive. So the second measure is social distancing is the most effective weapon. We are not talking about the weapon we need to actually, or we are in the process that we try to distract the humankind and then just trying to make sure that we try to have some kind of hegemony to try to have over our neighboring countries. No, that is not the weapon we are talking about. The effective weapon at this time, that is virus versus the unity, is the social distancing. So social distancing is the effective weapon when we are fighting against the coronavirus. That is, unity is the effective weapon. When we are talking about unity, not that we have to have the social gathering, we have to be united, that we have to follow the preventive measures, so that we are away from the social distancing. That means we are not having social gatherings, and then we will fight the coronavirus. And the other measure is that we have to instill a collective purpose thinking capacity, because this collective purpose thinking capacity will make sure that, or we will definitely come out with a solution that we can meet or we can succeed the common challenge. And then it is quite another to do what the governments are supposed to do and then communicate it. So whatever is happening, that is in regards to the stricter measures taken by the government, we have to be part of it. That is, we have to be part of the collective purpose. And then we would conclude this by saying, or with the conclusion, in most part of the world, that is, there is a threat to the humanity, and this threat to humanity has prompted leaders to put political differences aside. This is what I was talking about, unity. Unity is very important. United front. We stand united at this time. So, whatever differences, political differences we have or we had in the past has to be shredded or kept aside, and then we have to think about the humanity and then join hands together and then make sure that we fight effectively against the coronavirus. And it will be a tragedy. It will be a tragedy if India cannot do the same. So, India has certainly gone ahead with taking an initiative with a video conferencing with the SAARC nations. So, that is an initiative taken by the government of India. And then, if there is a question in regards to that threat to humanity versus political differences aside and then joining hands to fight against coronavirus. So you are definitely equipped with all the information for the prelims and also for the mains point of view, because prelims, definitely the question is not asked in kind of any static. Gone are those days wherein the static information was asked. Nowadays, the prelims also carries, the questions in the prelims also carries analytical. So this analysis in regards to the editorial, I hope it was very informative, and then we will move forward now. And then the next one is in regards to crime and punishment. Well, when we are talking about this crime and punishment, that means we are all aware of what the editor is talking about, which crime, and the editor talking about what was a punishment for that crime. So the heading what I have taken is Nirbhaya, meaning fearless. So it was on December 16, 2012, wherein India has experienced which it shouldn't have experienced. And we have seen on that day a woman who was brutally raped in Delhi, and then later on within a month she has passed away battling her life. So this is a kind of incident which has taken wherein nobody will accept it. And then the kind of the Supreme Court verdicts or the delays which has taken place, and finally the Supreme Court has said that yes, we are ready to execute the 4 men who were involved in the case, that is rape case, brutally rape case against a woman on December 16, 2012. The first date which was announced by the Supreme Court was on January 22nd, 2020. But the convicts tried all the legal avenues that there could be a possibility that they could escape the punishment. But the judiciary has definitely proved to the nation that justice will be delivered. No doubt, it has taken almost 7 years, 7 plus, for the justice to be delivered. But at the same time, justice delayed, but not justice, what do you say, delivered. It is delivered, and then it is delivered in such a way that the convicts could not escape the punishment. And therefore, the Supreme Court at the midnight of March 19, that is March 19, 2020, it has rejected the last minute plea by the convicts that there should be review of the death penalty. But the review of the death penalty by the convicts of, that is one of the convicts, wherein he has gone ahead with review of the death penalty, the Supreme Court has rejected on March 19, and it has given a judgment, historic we can say, that the 4 men involved would be hanged, and they are hanged on, that is, yesterday, March 20 at early morning 5:30 in Delhi's Tihar jail. So after the execution, the mother of the women has said families will start teaching their boys that the punishment for such a crime will be severe. So the mother of the women, Nirbhaya, is definitely happy now that the kind of trauma they have faced, that the justice is delivered. So she says families will start teaching their boys that the punishment for such a crime will be severe. So it is the statement of the mother. So we will look at the judgment given by the Supreme Court, and then how this judgment by the Supreme Court, which was delivered on March 19, will, or it has been part of the various committees also. So again, when we are looking at this, definitely there is a possibility that when we are talking about Justice J.S. Verma committee, that it could be part of your preliminary question, prelims 2020. So the judgment of Supreme Court in regards to the Nirbhaya case, if there is a question asked, there could not be there might not be a question asked directly on the Nirbhaya case. There could be, or there could be a question asked which actually is part of the judgment, the Supreme Court verdict on the Nirbhaya case. So the part of is that Justice J.S. Verma committee. So we will look at how Justice J.S. Verma committee had also spoken about the sexual offences, or in regards to the rape cases. So in 2012, the government of the day then, that is why we are talking about how the government has reacted in 2012, because it was on December 16, 2012, the incident has taken place in regards to the Nirbhaya rape. So aftermath of the incident, wherein the entire, the nation was in a confused noise. The entire nation was in a confused noise, and there was a kind of scenario which has taken place in the nation, across the nation, not only in Delhi, that they were against the rape case. So when this confused noise has been on the entire streets of the country, so it was need for the government of the particular day that they go or talk about or set up what has to be done. Then in regards to, or else aftermath of that incident, what we are talking about on December 16, 2012, then there was a setup of Justice J.S. Verma committee to look into the rape laws. Justice J.S. Verma committee has come up in 2012, post December 16, 2012 incident rape case. So the report led that there has to be a stringent changes to what? Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. So when we are talking about what the Justice Verma committee has actually recommended, it has recommended that there has to be a stringent changes to the existing criminal law, or the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. So as per prelims, again you have to be very clear about understanding about Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, because as I said or reiterated, that UPSC could pose a question based on Nirbhaya, not directly but related to the Supreme Court verdict. So how the verdict has come up and what are the actually acts involved in it, or which committees were involved in it, and based on that you have to face the question paper of the prelims 2020. So your understanding and your ability to look at the issue has to be, out of the box. You have to think that how best I can try to score marks in the prelim, not just reading the the article or just sticking to the information what is given. No, you have to probe little bit. So the probing of it is in regards to the JS Verma committee, what it said and what were the recommendations, and the part of the recommendation is also that there has to be a stringent changes to the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. And then there was also mention about marital rape and also in regards to the police reform. So Justice Verma committee spoke about or recommended about stringent changes, first in regards to Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 and also in regards to the marital rape and also in regards to the police reform. So which among the following are not part of the recommendation by JS Verma committee? So if you are aware of this, then definitely you will score better marks or edge over others, and then you will be ready for the mains. And JS Verma committee report has also had suggested death penalty would be regressive step. What does this mean? That means it is Justice Verma committee was not for death penalty, not for execution, for the the convicts who were part of the rape. So that crime or the offense committed, the Verma committee was not suggesting the death penalty, and they said death penalty would be a regressive step in the field of sentencing and reformation. So when India is a democratic country and it is a secular, I don't say that being democratic and secular we should not have execution. Yes, execution could be the last resort. Fine. Here in this case, yes, the Supreme Court felt it is required and it is gone. But we are just talking in regards to the Justice Verma committee as per what it would be in tandem with our preliminary questions. So Justice Verma committee has suggested that death penalty would be a regressive step. And then it has also argued rigorous imprisonment of convict of for life. That means it has it said that rather than death penalty, it wanted rigorous imprisonment. So if there is a statement in 1, 2, 3, 4 of the question saying that Justice Verma committee recommended the or suggested the death penalty in penalty, and then the next would be Justice Verma committee suggested rigorous imprisonment over death penalty, then again you will be having an a dilemma in whether to pick up this or that. But as per our explanation, the class what we are going ahead, you will have a clear view. Not only my class, whenever you are reading any news, your thinking capacity has to be in such a way that how best I can try to look at a probe and then be part of the main slot. And then we will also look at the National Crime Record Bureau, what the National Crime Record Bureau also has spoken about, or else it has released a report in January 2020. And then just we will look at a few statistics here. Not that statistics would be asked compulsorily, but a better understanding about how the trend goes on in regards to the cases against or the crimes against the women. So in regards to 2020 January NCRB report, a total of 3.78 lakh cases of crimes were against women recorded across India in 2018 compared to 3.59 lakh crime cases in 2017 and 3.38 lakh cases in 2016. So when you look at these statistics of the data very keenly, we can understand that comparing it with 2016, comparing it with 2017 and comparing it with 2018, the cases are increasing 3.38 to 3.59 to 3.78. So what I said is your understanding capacity increases when you look at statistics. Not that you need to mug up the statistics. No, your analytical skill has to improve. So here when I'm it is that it is increasing year on year. That is the crime cases against women as per the NCRB report January 2020. It is increasing year on year from 2016 to 2017 to the 2018. That is what you need to actually focus here in regards to NCRB report. Sorry. And a total number of rape cases in 2018 was 33,356, and upon this, as per NCRB, Madhya Pradesh is, or else it has registered 5,450 rape cases, which is maximum in 2018. So again, the report is also trying to emphasize on the which is the state which is actually having more of registered rape cases. So again, for preliminary point of view, you are having a very good information in the NCRB report 2020. And the crime rate per 1 lakh women population was 58.8 in 2018, and then 57.9 in 2017, and at the end of 2018, 33.6 cases were pending in police investigation. So if you look at crimes against women, it is year on year increasing 2016, 2017 and 2018. And if you look at the report or the statistics in regards to crime rate per 1 lakh women population, so again 2017 it is 57.9, again it is 58.8, increasing. So we have looked at the JS Verma committee for prelims point of view, and then the NCRB report again from prelims point of view, prelims 2020, and then we will look at few challenges. So what are the challenges here involved, that how best we can try to make sure that, or what are the challenges that the nation is facing, so that we are unable to contain it. So we will look at what is very important is the kind of attitude which is actually prevailing in the entire or all the families in India, or major family, or mostly in all the families in India. It always endorses a preference for the male child, and this attitude of endorsing a preference for male child in the family is at that instant itself, when you are thinking about a male child, at that instance itself you're condemning the girl child, an unequal world, or in an unequal world. That means you are not accepting the girl child that moment itself. So that is a challenge. So that notion, that attitude has to be changed, that irrespective of the male, or what do you say, male child or girl child, both are equal, and then we need not worry about whether they are, I mean, a male child or girl child. When we are not worrying about it, then definitely the kind of cases which are going ahead will definitely shrink, or will definitely it will subside. The main problem or the challenge is with the thinking capacity itself at the initial stages, that we are giving preference to male child, not really to the girl child. And the other challenge is sexual crimes against women have not come down since even Delhi case. So that is again a challenge. In spite of such a hue and cry, which has actually, there was, what do you say, a confused noise, very loud and clear, that the rape case was not accepted across the country. But still, provided that 2016 we are not experiencing any kind of, what do you say, sexual crimes which are declining in India post Delhi case, since Delhi case, that is since 2012 December 16. And then the death penalty could actually encourage the rapist to kill the victim. So there is a kind of psychological challenge what the nation would be facing. I say the psychological challenge, that when there is a death penalty involved, that to the rapist or the convict, then it would encourage the psychology of the person, of the one who is involved in it, to kill the victim. So this is another challenge. Now, as we have looked here, sorry, here, that the JS Verma committee was talking about, there has to be stringent changes in the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. So, for the benefit of the viewers, that is the civil servant aspirant for prelims 2020, We will also look at what actually is Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. As I said, if UPSC is not concentrating on JS Verma Committee, Nirbhaya Act, that is, I mean, in regards to the Supreme Court verdict on Nirbhaya, and then if it is not really focusing even on NCRB report, then there could be possibility that there could be question on Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. So we are taking no chance that there could be a question which would come and we are not missing it. So no stone unturned in regards to the Supreme Court verdict on the execution of the Nirbhaya convicts. So we will also look at the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. The Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 is popularly or was more popularly known as Anti-Rape Bill, and this bill has been passed by the Indian legislation, that is by Lok Sabha, on 19th March 2013. Again, for prelims point of view, the statistics 19th March 2013 it was passed by Lok Sabha, and on Rajya Sabha 21st March 2013. There the question will not be on, I mean, when it has been passed in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, but for a better understanding we are just taking up this. I mean, in regards to the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha passage of the bill, the dates, it is not really required, but it is in March 2013, and this provides the amendment of Indian Penal Code 1860, the amendment of Indian Evidence Act 1872, and also the Code of Criminal Procedures 1973, the laws which are related to sexual offense. So this is very important again from prelims point of view. So how the questions can be framed is that the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 provides an amendment to which amongst the following. I repeat, the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, which has been passed in in March 2013, provides amendment for which among the following. So if you find these three, yes. If you find these three and then there is something else, then you have to eliminate. So it provides amendment to the Indian Penal Code 1860, Indian Evidence Act 1872, and then Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. You please make it a point. It is very important for prelims point of view. And then the bill received the presidential order, and then it has, on 2nd April 2013. And then it, as earlier it was an ordinance by the then President of India Pranab Mukherjee, later on by the assent on 2nd April 2013 it has become an act. So this gives or provides for amendments, again I reiterate, Indian Penal Code 1860, Indian Evidence Act 1872, Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. Now we will also look at, for the benefit of the viewers, I would also take up about what is NCRB information. So it is headquartered in New Delhi and it was set up in 1986 by the Ministry of Home Affairs. So it could be a question again that NCRB is under Ministry of Home Affairs or Ministry of Department of Personnel, or in regards to the defense, or in regards to the Prime Minister PM office. So the answer is the Ministry of Home Affairs, and then its function is to make sure that it is a source of information on crime and criminals. So NCRB is, or it tries to provide information on the crimes and the criminals. And then it was set up based on the recommendation of National Police Commission 1977-1981, and then Ministry of Home Affairs Task Force. Again, for prelims point of view, the NCRB was set up in 1986 and it was set up on the recommendation of National Police Commission and then Ministry of Home Affairs Task Force. So again, prelims point of view, very important. And then NCRB brings out annual report, comprehensive statistics of the crime, that is a report. It is generally called as Crime in India report. So NCRB report is also called as Crime in India report, and it's been publishing since 1953. So this is all about NCRB. We have looked at Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. We have looked at a general NCRB report of 2020. We have also looked at Justice J.S. Verma committee. So in regards to the Supreme Court verdict on Nirbhaya case, this is what we have actually looked into it, which is definitely important for prelims point of view. And if at all, I'm just saying, if at all, if this question is not in the prelims, also nothing to worry, because this kind of analysis or this kind of what you say preparation you make, then definitely you will not miss what you say prelims. You will definitely crack prelims. And then the next one is about the kind of economic impact, what we, that is the India is facing. So definitely we are all aware that it is pandemic versus economy, or else virus versus economy. So the virus has taken, it's giving a tough time to the people across the world, not only to the people's, I mean the health of these individuals, but also to the health of the economy of the respective individual countries, and also to the health of the entire global economy. So again, your understanding has to be in such a way that you are linking differently, or different topics you are linking together to form a new one, that is public health versus economic health. Public health versus economic health. So when you have this kind of attitude, this kind of what you say thinking, when you are looking at each and every article or editorial, or also in regards to any news, then your thinking capacity develops. When your thinking capacity develops, as I am saying, your analysis will be at the macro level. When your analysis is definitely on the macro level, you are thorough or you're perfect in regards to the micro level. So prelims, it will be what you say not really tough if you are preparing in this fashion. So we will look at the pandemic impact. So the pandemic impact, as we have seen that because of the impact of the coronavirus, the Indian equity markets have badly hit. Because of the global equity markets which have been hit, the shock, it has been, the Indian equity markets have also experienced this shock. And because of this, the Prime Minister of India has also come up with an emergency fund for the COVID, and also he has gone ahead with a commencing a task force under the finance ministry, so that this task force will assess the economic impact of the pandemic, that is COVID-19. It will assess the economic impact. So pandemic impact versus, or else health impact versus economic impact. And then we know that it is the virus which is eating away the entire economy. So it is a need of the hour that we try to contain it, or else it will be very tough to handle the economy. Or when we are talking about handle the economy, we would further discuss in our, in my this article, that how it is impacting, it is denting our economy, and how it is difficult to again pump money into the market. So we will look at it. And then this virus has eaten, we had a budget which is just a month old, but it is eating away the entire budget. It is not just the tax revenues, but it is also impacting the disinvestment budget. And then this is a cause of concern. So this is what is happening in regards to the Indian market. So we will also look at or compare it with the other countries, how that countries or those countries economy has been impacted because of the pandemic, and then how they have come up with an emergency fund to counter the pandemic COVID-19. I repeat, how those countries have come up with an emergency fund to counter the impact of economy because of the pandemic COVID-19. So we will look at the country, that is the Hong Kong, which has announced a cash handout of Hong Kong dollars, that is 10,000 Hong Kong dollars for every permanent resident. So they have come up with an innovative idea that every permanent resident would get a cash of 10,000 Hong Kong dollars as a supportive measure. I repeat, as a supportive measure. And then United States is also thinking about the cash handout. So what is the keyword here? What we are learning today is the cash handout. The cash handout. So it is thinking about, or it is considering the cash handout, which would be totaling about 250 billion US dollars to its citizen. Even along with Hong Kong and US, the Britain is also going ahead with 330 billion pounds, so that this will back up the government backed loans and guarantees. Along with the Britain, even France and Spain has also gone ahead with announcing 300 billion euros and 100 billion euros for the aid respectively for France and Spain. So why we are talking about this, that is the cash handout, is yes, definitely it is impact on the economy. So when it is impacting the economy, it is impacting the businesses. When it is impacting the businesses, it will also impact the each and every individual, that is the banks, and then later on to the individuals, that is in regards to the businessman, or else in regards to the salaried employed. So to come out of it, an innovative idea by these countries is cash and out. So we will look at what are the challenges the Indian economy is facing because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have seen that it has impacted various individuals, not only the manufacturing sector or service sectors, but it has impacted the, what do you say, the individuals and the small and medium business enterprises also. So the cab drivers, the restaurant waiters, mall workers, domestic help, and then it is in regards to the itinerant retailers and other casual job workers. They were the one who have been badly hit, or they will further be badly hit, because already as per the preventive measures, many of the malls are shut down, many of the restaurants are shut down, social gatherings are not supposed to take place. And then when these all are taking place, so what we have discussed here, all these are being that they are already without jobs and their incomes are very short, and then there is a possibility that they would lose job. So this is the biggest challenge what the government of India has to think about, and then think about a solution to infuse the liquidity into the market to make sure that it retains the confidence, or else the individuals or the citizens will also have confidence against the government of India, that they are ready to protect each and every individual's income and jobs. What I am trying to say is that the government is not just thinking about the preventive measures to contain the virus, but also the government is thinking about the jobs of the individuals and the job and the incomes of the individuals. So as we are seeing that the service industry, that is in regards to airlines, hotels, restaurant and tourism, have been badly hit, and this will further extend to the manufacturing sector. So the one which is hit first is the service industry. Once the service industry is hit, then it will extend to manufacturing sector also. Sorry. And then the immediate problem, the challenge is immediate problem for the service industry, because there is a cork which has been fixed. What I mean, why the cork has been fixed is that for the cash, that means there is no liquidity in the market. There is a stop or the cork which is fixed, so that the money supply is not happening. There is liquidity crunch in the market. So that is the immediate problem wherein the service industry is facing. And then it is a duty of the finance ministry, RBI, and also the Prime Minister of India to make sure that along with preventive measures to contain the COVID-19 virus, it is the need of the hour to also make sure that they address the economic impact, that is in regards to the service industry. And then we have also seen that this immediate crisis is the cash flows. What I have said, that is cash spigot, that is there is a cork in the cash flow, and that has to be actually now repaired. While the cash registers have stopped because of the what is a non-movement, or because of the service industry and the manufacturing industry has been hit, and then this has to be dealt with, or because it has to be dealt, I am saying the reason is because there has to be, these businessmen or businesses have to go ahead with salaries, they have to go ahead with lease installments, they have to go ahead with loan repayments, and so on. So the cash registers have stopped, and because of this the impact would be on the salaries, the impact would be on the installments, the impact would be in the loan repayment. So one of the challenge. And then the other biggest challenge is that the banks obviously not going to offer any accommodation to this business. Why? It is the need of the hour to accommodate the businessman. But as we know that banks are reeling under its own issues. The banks are reeling under its own issues, that is in regards to the sick loans or NPAs. So when there are sick loans and then non-performing assets which are looming, or which are taking in great shape, which is growing at very high pace. So at this time it is tough for the banks to accommodate and to make sure that the business are being protected. And the other biggest challenge is that the Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited and Air India, we have seen in the recent that BPCL and Air India were supposed to be disinvested. So now because of the entire global economy impact, or the global market, equity markets have what is says totally shattered, because of that, or the shock of that is, the repercussion of that is, the BPCL and Air India appears to remain government companies in the foreseeable future. Why? Because the government has gone ahead with disinvesting the BPCL and Air India, but now because of the impact of the COVID-19 on the economy, these are bound to be with the government as government companies. So that is also biggest challenge, because again the government has to keep on pumping money into it, wherein actually they wanted to disinvest and then make money create revenue for the government. And now we had looked at challenges, so we will definitely look at the measures, how we can try to come out of the economic impact, which is making sure that there is cash spigot, that is cash flow has reduced. So we have to make sure that the cash flow is increasing, that is there is more of liquidity in the market rather than liquidity crunch. The liquidity has to be increased. So what measures can be taken by the government to infuse liquidity into the market, so that there would be cash flow? Once there is cash flow, definitely the service industry will again boom. Once the service industry booms, then it will impact positively on the manufacturing sector. So what are the measures where the government has to take to infuse the money so that there is more of liquidity? So the measures are that they can go ahead with cash transfers to the vulnerable sections, because as per the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, there are 33 crore accounts under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and this can be taken as an platform to make sure that the vulnerable sections, we can identify the vulnerable sections, and then we can, we in the sense the government can make sure that after identifying the vulnerable section, the government can transfer the money to them. So how much money minimum it is, 1,000 rupees or what, the government can decide, and it can transfer the money, so that there is money circulation. I'm not saying to everyone, but at least to the vulnerable sections. So again, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana will come handy for the government to infuse money, liquidity into the market. And there we also have an efficient PDS system, that is public distribution system in India. And through this, we can identify the beneficiaries here again. And then if possible, we can also go ahead with cash handouts. I presume that you are still having that, concept which I said, the keyword cash handouts. Yes, I did talk about the cash handouts when I was talking about the cash handouts wherein the Hong Kong US has come up. Cash and handouts, I said it is a keyword. So that concept is also, can be taken as a measure by taking up the PDS system or looking at the PDS system data, and then we can also, go ahead with using the cash handout method or the measure. And then according to the National Food Security Portal, we have 23.53 crore ration cards, and then we can, through that portal, that is the information or the data through the National Food Security Portal, we can identify the people there. And then if the government feels that they can transfer rupees 1,000, but just by transferring 1,000, because of the National Food Security, because of the National Food Security Act, it is the responsibility of the government to make sure that none of the family or none of the family members are, starving. So they can make sure, the government can take into consideration the data by this portal, and they can transfer rupees 1,000. But if they go ahead with rupees 1,000 also, it will cost 23,500 crores. And then the other measure is that the government can consider an offering of loan guarantee to the affected business. Definitely the business are being affected, that is the small scale industries or the ancillaries. They have been affected because of the COVID. They have been shut down of many of the businesses. Because they are shut down, definitely it impacts. So when it is impacting the small businessman, the government can think about offering the loan guarantees by providing working capital loans, by linking it with the assurance from the borrowers, wherein there is a kind of assurance from the borrowers, and then the businessman will can get the loans by a loan guarantee, that is by providing the working capital loans. All these measures are to infuse the liquidity into the market. And then the other one is, the measure is that the equated monthly installment holiday can also be a big relief for the individuals and also to the businessmen, wherein they have faced, or the consequences of the COVID-19, and then the kind of shutdown in the various individual business and the businesses or the businessmen, which have also been impacted, or there is a job loss or salary cut or loss of revenue. So when you are looking at this, so the government also can take up the measure by going ahead with equated monthly installment holiday. And then it can go ahead also with one more measure, that is 3-month mortgage holiday. 3-month mortgage holiday. There is one, you call it as EMI holiday, one we have looked at here, and the other one is the 3-month mortgage holiday. So this also will make sure that it will lure the lenders so that the infusion takes place. So now I have looked at, we have looked at that what are the challenges the service industry and the manufacturing industry are facing, and then how it will impact the each and every individual, the incomes, salaries, jobs and everything. And then we have also looked at the measures what could or what are the possibilities the government can take up, and how best we can try to infuse and then protect the interest of the individuals and also small businessmen. Fine. And then now we will, in my discussion in this class, I will also talk about, or we will discuss about, the ways to finance. So what is important is not just identifying the challenges and the measures, we should also have the alternative ways to finance it, to overcome the challenges. So what are the measures or the ways to finance? So there has to be resources from the center and the states which have to be pulled together, and then the entire resources have to be pulled by the center and the state, and then they have to develop a new one, that is national response to this unfolding economic tragedy, because we know this is an economic tragedy which the country is facing. So to unfold the economic tragedy, it is the need of the hour that there should be a center and state pulled, so that we will have the infuse of liquidity. The government will have to engage with private sector while they are going ahead with devising or they're coming up with any assistance measures. So the government should also engage with the private sectors, and there are a lot of expertise and sharp financial minds in the private sector. So now again the government has to take it into consideration that it is need that they should tap these, what you say, expertise and sharp financial minds, so that they can be used for innovative ideas. So these innovative ideas could be part of, or else the ways to finance or to infuse liquidity into the market. And then a well structured and tax efficient bond issue, a well structured and tax efficient bond issue also can make sure that you can pool domestic savings. So when you are going ahead with a bond, or when the government, if the government can go ahead with issuing the bonds which are well structured and tax efficient, then these well structured and tax efficient bonds can provide an opportunity or an option to tap the largest savings, that is the domestic savings. So the government can try to tap the domestic savings. I don't say that once you, what do you say, go ahead with sucking the money again it is problem, but it is a ways to infuse the money that which are excess now with the domestic savings. It can be not only from the domestic savings. For example, the domestic savings at this time we cannot try to tap it by the bond issue, because there is a sense of mindset that everyone or each and every family will make sure that they try to restore the money or block the money. So it is not only just trying to tap the domestic savings, but also the Indian diaspora should be taken into consideration, or should be tapped, because the Indian diaspora are the one who are actually into bringing, what you say, remittances back to India. So that money can be tapped. So we have looked at challenges, measures, and then the ways to infuse the funds. So now the conclusion we would take up, or a kind of substantiating that how best we can try to pool or tap the domestic savings and the savings with the Indian diaspora. Because in 1998 there was a bond called as Resurgent India bonds, and then they have actually, what do you say, been issued in India in 1998, that is post Pokhran test. And then once we have, India has gone ahead with testing the Pokhran test, then India was faced to experience the sanctions, experience the economic sanctions. So when India has forced to experience the economic sanctions, then India has come up with this innovative, that is Resurgent India bonds, wherein HBI has raised these bonds, and then it has almost collected 4 billion US dollars from NRIs. 4 billion US dollars from NRIs. So definitely There is money with the NRIs, that is the Indian diaspora. So it is the need of the hour. How best we can tap the money which is outside India. Yes, definitely domestic people will not come out with what you say purchasing the bonds at this moment. Probably few of them might, but the more money which is outside India, that is with the Indian diaspora, can be tapped. And once we tap that money, definitely it can be again infused into the market, wherein it will add to the liquidity. And this is an unprecedented situation for the country, as the same that is aftermath of the sanctions in 1998. So this is not a new situation wherein we are facing. India has faced in 1998. India has faced even in the what do you say economic recession which has gone in 2008. So India is aware of the measures, aware of the ways to infuse, and then it is very clear that India will bounce back robustly to protect our economy and then make sure that our economy again flourishes or it is back to the normal track, and then it will emerge. Indian economy will definitely emerge, and this is how we have gone ahead with the understanding of the topic or the issue at each and every stage, so that it was very helpful for you all for prelims point of view and mains point of view. That means my lectures are definitely useful for prelims and also for mains, especially focusing on the analytical skills, that is analysis. Once you have the analysis, bird's view or comprehensive manner or macro level, certainly your prelims 2020 you will crack it. Take it for granted. And I hope the entire session was helpful for you and informative for you to crack prelims 2020. So please do like, subscribe, and then hit the bell button when you're watching the video in YouTube, that is Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. And you can also subscribe the channel, that is Unacademy Subscription, by using my code SBT10. So when you use my code SBT10, you will or you can avail 10% discount on the fee structure. So make sure that you take the maximum benefit and be part of the Unacademy subscription. Thank you and see you tomorrow at 7 p.m.